very, very keen to read through and sit through the whole book. So I want to know from you. I did it my way. What does that mean for you? Living life your way. What does that mean for you?
Living my way was actually basically it's I wouldn't say in my DNA, but circumstances, situations, and from childhood when I was born in Karachi. We came back in '47 to Bombay, and as refugees, my parents were struggling, and they all settled themselves. And I had basically two fathers and two mothers because my dad's friend from school, they were in school together, college together, and they got married and they lived together till the day they died. They were not relatives, they were friends. So mine is a very unique story. Mine is a very unique story of having two fathers and two mothers. So I've been brought up in that environment. And with that situation, you see varies of characters, I mean, my uncle and my dad, whom I call Tayaji, were chalk and cheese. But they couldn't do without each other. I mean, one was the planner, other was the executor. So they were a great team together. And there used to be a signboard, not a sign, a frame, photo frame in the hall, I remember as a child. It says, first plan your work and then work your plan.
Oh,
I didn't understand that at that time. And I said, why you got such nice pictures and paintings around you? Why did you keep this frame? He said, you don't understand it. Someday you will. So then later on when I realized, I said, that meant so much to everything. I said, you first plan your work. Then that part of it was my uncle. He was a great thinker, a visionary. And and work your plan was my dad. He was the executor. So he used to execute the plan which he used to think. So as a team, they were together and they worked together all their lives, even though later part of their lives when they went, I mean, their interests were diverse. My dad was fond of socializing, racing, gambling, parties. My uncle was absolutely opposite. He went into homeopathy and he was treating free patients on Sundays, I remember, as a homeopathic doctor. And he had a great shafa in his hand. He went into magic. He wrote books on jokes. And, his interests were totally diverse. So in the end, they were like in different tangents and didn't really get along as such. But they lived together and died together. This was in their DNA. But I saw all this as a child. As a child, we all absorb. And we used to see their affection, their love, and then later on their differences and how they became so different that they didn't even talk to each other.
But live in the same
But
house.
living in the same house. And when my uncle got cancer, they all were there for him. When my aunt died later, a year later, they were all there. But there were differences all the time. I somehow or the other as a child never got along with my father. We were always at loggerheads, and my real father was my uncle, whom I could sit and talk to, and I could relate to, whom I used to get pocket money from. All these things was my uncle, and his wife, whom I call Bhabiji, was my real mother because she took care of me. She used to wake me up in the morning, give me badam, for my memories, and for my exam, give me dahi before. My mother and father never had time for me, us, my brother and me. They were busy in their own social life. And my mother had her own printing press. My mother was Jewish.
Right.
So she had her own printing press. So she was busy with her printing press and her social life between that and very little time for the children. But my Bhabiji, my mother, and who's the one who brought us up. So from that angle, I would say they were my real father and mother. So, when you grow up with this kind of a situation, and then there were differences, and then I had my differences because I was not getting along with my father. He was too strict, he was very suspicious, and he didn't let me play sports. But my mother was a sportswoman, so I used to hide and go for badminton, hide and play cricket, which he didn't know about. And he was always a very suspicious man. If I come late, he would He would smell me and say, "Are you drinking? Are you smoking?"
Oh.
It was very, and there was a very lot of bitterness between us, and he was always shouting, scolding. I got beaten, trashed with my racket so many times, and all these things. So we were absolutely not on talking terms. I grew up in that whole, and my uncle was the loving one, so I used to pour my heart out to him.
So it was a good balance.
That was what it. But eventually, as time passed, uh, I became a rebel. When you reach a breaking point, when you can't tolerate anymore, and you become like 16, 17, you become. I said, no, I'm going to do exactly the opposite what my father did. Is saying. So if he says don't drink, I would drink. If he says don't smoke, I would smoke. If he says don't go out with women, I would go out with women. And I did everything opposite. I became an absolute rebel. I was a sportsman in school, in college. I won the Maharashtra State Badminton Championship, which you didn't know about. I won the cricket. I was in cricket team in my school, college, heading it. So when my photo came one day in the paper saying that Rajan Lall, Maharashtra State Badminton Champion, he looked at it. He said, "What is this?" I said, "Are you playing badminton?" I said, "Yeah, I'm playing badminton." He took the racket and he smashed it on my back.
Oh my goodness.
And he said, "Who told you to play? You're not supposed to play. You're not well. You have a hole in your heart." I said, "What do you mean?" He got a false certificate from the doctor saying, "I have a hole in my heart." And he says, "You cannot play." And I was.
But there must have been some reason why he.
I don't know. I don't know why he was. You see, I think personally, now when I go hindsight and think about it, and he wanted to control his children. In the old times, how there was joint families and that patriarchy. He wanted to control his children. He don't want to lose control, and he wanted to be always the boss.
Right.
So there's a limit to that. So he, I think, went overboard on the limit. And then I think that was my biggest motivation factor to do something in life and prove to him that I'm not the nikamma that I'm told to be. He used to tell everybody, "Hey, kuch nahi karta hai, घटिया आदमी है. He's useless, he doesn't study well, he doesn't do well." He used to put me down all the time. My mother used to encourage me, but my mother was stuck between the devil and the deep sea.
Yeah.
And she had to balance his opinion and talk to me separately. "Don't worry, I'm there." So it was a very difficult time for me to pass through.
Right.
When I went through that time, it is at a point, there's always a last straw that breaks the camel's back.
Right.
And there's an incident which took place where I think he beat me up or thrashed me or slapped me or something like that, and something snapped inside me. And I had a chappal in my hand and I flung it and threw it at him. And it hit his face. And he fell down. And I think he had a heart attack or something like that happened. Oh. And my mother was slapping me and saying, "You killed your father." And you killed your... I said, "No." I said, let him die. I can't stand this anymore. That it all came out. The whole volcano erupted. It was a very intense situation.
Relationship, yeah.
And I told him, I said, "You touch me anymore, ever again, and I will not leave you. And I will disclose all your secrets, which I know about what you're doing."
And this was age 16, 17?
About 17. And I knew what he was up to because he was, always having his own situations. And I said, "If you touch me anymore, I will tell everybody who you really are and what you're really doing." So that, I think he realized it. And after that day, the situation changed. And I realized that being a rebel is not bad.
Okay.
And I got my way.
So that...
That's what it is. And from that day onwards, he totally changed and became a different person, and I became we never talked. We never discussed nothing. Situations went on like...
Standing up for yourself, speaking up for yourself. That's what defined that moment for you.
What?
Standing up for...
Yes.
Not taking any more...
As children,
gaslighting.
we're all scared of our parents, but
Mm.
he was like a absolute, I would say, very like a, for me, he was like a monster.
Mm.
And he would not talk to me. He would
Right.
shout at me. He
Mm.
would not discuss with me.
Mm.
He would tell me.
Right.
He would order me.
Yeah. I
So
think
these,
parenting in those days
it
was
was
more
very, 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 very strong.
authoritative.
But then when my uncle and my mother and everybody saw this,
Mm.
there were three people on my side and one person on the other side.
Okay.
So they used to sit down and they said, "Don't worry, we are here. He's
Mm.
like this, he's like that."
But having said that, do you feel you've imbibed any of his characteristics in any way?
I don't think the only characteristic I've imbibed in him is socializing because they were party animals. You know, my uncle, Mr. J.C. Jain,
Mm.
was the general manager of Times of India.
Mhm.
You've heard of Times of India. Now, he is the one who started the Filmfare magazine. The Filmfare Awards were instituted by him.
Wow.
So, as a child, it was in my DNA.
Mm.
And seeing all these film stars, playback singers, parties at home, Raj Kapoor, Prithvi Raj singing at home,
Mm.
mushairas. And then my dad's younger brother was married to Om Prakash's daughter,
Mhm.
Om Prakash, the comedian. And Rajesh Khanna's sister, real sister, Lata, was married to my cousin brother, Anil Bakshi.
Mhm.
So we have, I mean, they were like family.
Right.
And I've grown up with Om Prakash, with Rajesh Khanna, friends before he became a star. We were friends, very close.
How did you process their level of success? I mean, as a child.
You see, Om Prakash was already a star. I
Mm.
mean, at that time, I was like a little son to him.
Mm.
And I used to look up to him, and he was very fond of me. So he used to
Mm.
treat me like a son. Rajesh and Kaka and me were very close. This is much before I think Raz happened or his other movie, the first movie he made
Mm.
happened. We were very close. He was very fond of cars. And in fact, he used to wear this silk lungi kurta,
Okay.
and I still wear it for my night dress. So it
Okay.
was something synonymous with him.
Mm.
And we were very close. He was such a nice person,
Mm.
fond of cars, and used to share a lot together.
Mm.
But this was till he became a superstar.
Mm.
After he became a superstar, things changed. I'd never met him.
Okay.
He had his own coterie of friends.
Yeah.
I didn't like what he was doing or how he was behaving. But I kept to myself, and we didn't have much to do with each other. But he became a different person.
So you always had an opinion of.
I knew them from inside. I knew them
Mm.
from what they really were or where they're coming from.
Right.
And I had the opportunity like this with Rajesh Khanna, with Om Prakash, with Dutt Saab, of course, is my mentor. And I learned so much from him, Shatrughan Sinha,
Mm.
and Jitender,
Mhm.
and Vinod Mehra, Anupam Kher, Mahesh Bhatt.
Okay.
These are all people whom I've been intimate. Jagjit Singh, Talat Aziz, Anup Jalota, Pankaj Udas, Bhupinder Mithali, Roop Kumar Rathod, Sonali. I've lived with them
Mm.
and been part of their journey.
Right.
And they started their journey from my house because we used to have music parties. So Jagjit came into the picture, Bhupinder came, and all the other singers came because they wanted to be popular because of J.C. Jain. They said, promote us kind of thing. So I helped them promote. People like Mahesh Bhatt, Anupam Kher, Kulbhushan Kharbanda, Mark Zubair,
So very successful
Dipti
people.
Nawal, yeah, all these Shafi Inamdar, Dilip, they all used to be in my house in Pali Hill when I used to have a 400 square feet house when I moved out of my marital home.
Right.
I used to, and he was living upstairs, Mahesh. So we used to, and they were all broke. They were struggling, all of them.
Okay.
So when I had another relationship with a woman who was an air hostess after I left my wife, she was flying for British Airways. She used to bring 2 bottles of Black Label every time. So these guys they never heard of Black Label. For them was big thing.
But they were already stars at that time.
No,
right?
no,
Oh,
no. They were all strugglers.
struggling.
I'm talking of 80s.
Okay.
They were all struggling. Mahesh Bhatt had made one movie called Earth, which was being released.
Right.
And Anupam Kher was struggling. He used to come in an auto, have lunch, dinner, breakfast with me. And I used to, support and financially, emotionally, look
Mm.
after them. Kulbhushan Kharbanda also, they were all struggling. But they
Right.
used to come with me and pile up together because it was a
Mm.
home where everybody got drinks, whiskey,
Mm.
and food.
Okay.
So that was what it is. Puja Bhatt was very small that time.
Okay. Was there any pivotal moment in your life at that time, in the midst of this whole social scene where you're seeing people, where you're seeing a lot of people in the entertainment industry? Did you aspire to be in this line, or did you have any
No,
other
I was not in this
hopes for
line.
yourself?
When in the 80s I was with these people,
Mm.
I knew them as movie stars or
Mm.
want to be movie stars. They were
Right.
not movie stars. But I was not in the business per se.
Mm.
I got into the business in 90.
Mm.
So from 80 to 1890,
Mm.
I was just friends with them like my parents
Mm.
had friends with their movie circle.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it was just a friendship.
Mm.
And there was no intention of getting into movies or whatever. I was helping
Right.
them get into movies because of my connections with Mr. J.C. Jain and Filmfare
Right.
and the movie Bollywood people.
Mm.
So I was helping them because I wanted them to go further. Like
Mm.
Vinod Mehra was a
Yeah.
close friend of mine. We were in college together,
Mm.
and I also helped him, supported him a lot. I got him his first role in Elan and Lal. That is
Wow.
another story with F.C. Mehra, because F.C. Mehra was a very close friend of my father.
Okay.
There used to be one gang, I used to say they were all one gang.
Mm.
So he told me, he said, Rajan, yaar, please tell your dad to talk to F.C. Mehra because he was a very big film producer at that time. And he had made one film called Ek Thi Rita with Tanuja,
Mm-hmm.
which had not done well. So that was his only claim to fame, and he was very keen to become a movie star.
Right.
So I told my dad told FC Mehra, he said, why don't you take this boy
Mm.
in a movie? So he said, show me the film. So we went to see the film. We
Okay.
had a private viewing for him, and it's very strange. He got up after the movie and walked off.
Oh gosh.
And
That
he
bad.
said कि मेरा तो career खत्म हो गया. I mean, it's done. So next day, my dad called him up. He said, "Yeah, he used to be called Fakir Chand Mehra." He says, "Yeah, Fakir Chand, you just got up and left. What?" He said, "No, no, I was wanting to go to the toilet, so I ran off
Oh,
quickly to go to
wow.
the toilet, and I left from there. That's why I'm sorry." So he said,
Okay.
"Tell Rajan and Vinod to come to my office tomorrow."
And the deal was done.
So we went. He was very excited.
Mm.
In those days, Vinod was struggling in those days. You know, he was living in a small apartment in Bali Hill, not Bali Hill, Turner Road, with his mother and sister. And the rent was 250 rupees.
Okay.
And that also was being paid by me through my mother to him to pay in the court. So he was really struggling, and we were all helping him at that time. So he said, I have to go I remember, to meet FC Mehra.
Yeah.
He liked one cherry tomato shirt of mine. He said, can I wear your shirt? So I said, yeah. So he wore my shirt, I remember. And we went to FC Mehra. And FC Mehra had a very thin voice, like a girl, like JC Jain. So he talked with a thin voice. And he says, I saw the movie. I am making 2 movies, and I will sign you for both. I will pay you 50,000 for the first film and 1 lakh.
Which is a fair amount, I think, back in the day.
At that time.
Yeah.
It was 50,000 and 1 lakh rupees. So he called his accountant and he said, give him a check of 50,000.
Nice.
This guy practically fell off his chair, He was trembling like this, and I was holding his hand. And he thanked him, and we came out and everything. And this guy Vinod was trembling. He says he had never seen 50,000 rupees. So it was such a moment for him. And he hugged me and he cried. He said, Rajan, you've done something for me which nobody has done. And now 50,000 ka check haath mein, he didn't have a bank account.
Oh my God!
So I said, he said, man, what will I do with this check? I didn't have money that time to open a bank account.
Right.
So we opened a bank account with him and put 50,000 in the bank. And he opened it. That movie which was made was called Elan with Rekha, his first film. Wow. And the second film of his was Lal with Rajkumar, Rakhi and Hema Malini. That is the iconic film.
And the rest is history.
The rest is history. after that.
So what about your start, like Apu Raja? How did that idea come about?
I'll tell you this again, all these things, what happened was, I think, with destiny.
Mm.
I was in the movie business, but not in the movie business.
Mm.
But under, so that Kida was there to do something,
Yeah.
that passion was there to do something, but I didn't know what
In the industry.
in the industry.
Okay.
But I didn't know what and how, because this was all the socializing, the movie stars, the parties was all superficial. There was
Right.
nothing practical in terms of money, business to get into making of films or directing films or acting in films.
Mm.
Now, at that time, I would say I was maybe that time or even now I'm not. I wasn't hero material, let's say.
Mm.
So I was promoting Vinod. Vinod was very good looking.
Okay.
So I was pushing others to help them. I was always helping people,
Mm.
and they
But
all.
somewhere you wanted to
But
be a
somewhere
part
inside, I
of
wanted to do how, but I didn't know what.
Right.
This opportunity came to me by sheer chance or destiny. Is in 1987 or 88, after Vinod had become a star and Kaka had become a star and all Jagjit has become a star and Bhupinder, Roop,
Right.
Anup, all were stars. And but they were always with me, always there with me. I was working in a company called Siba. Then I joined Bayer and then I started my own business to something. So I was doing pretty well. That's another story. But I had about 5 offices at that time in the 80s because my company was doing well in Bombay, Delhi, Madras, Bangalore, Tirupur. So I used to travel a lot. So when I used to travel, I used to have friends in Madras, for example. And these friends of mine, they were film producers of Tamil and Telugu films with Rajinikanth, Kamal Hassan, Mammootty. They were big financiers and producers, very close friends of mine, Ram and Babu Nagpal. So they were, and I used to meet these big stars, superstars, Rajinikanth, Kamal Hassan, all in their house at parties.
Right.
And socializing with them. One day, this friend of mine, Ram, who came, he says, Rajan, why don't we dub Mr. Kamal Hassan's film Apurva Sodagal, which is a very big hit in Tamil.
In Hindi.
In Hindi. I said,
wow. That's an iconic
thought. Why would I do that? He said, it's such a great film. See it, and I will talk to Kamal, and we'll dub it in Hindi and release it. He says, you got the money, and it's not expensive. It costs you, what, 30, 40 lakhs? So I said, okay, let's try it. And it was by sheer chance that I met Kamal in his office. We saw the film. I liked the film. And we did our business deal as to how much. For him, it was extra money. Because that time there was no dubbing at all being happening in the movies. The dubbing was not done. The only dubbed films were the semi-pornographic films, which were from the south, which were dubbed in different languages, which were all under the radar. So that was only dubbing, which was a bad word at that time. So actually, we talked about it, and I said, well, this is not a bad idea. Let's try it out. And it's I mean, even if you lose it, it's not going to harm you. So we did the deal with Kamal. I bought the film, came back, and we called it Apu Raja. He said, we'll call it Apu Raja because that was the name of the character.
Yes.
It sounded funny to me because coming from the north, Apu and Raja, they were not north names, they were south names. Anyway, he dubbed the film for me completely with Sarika's voice and with his voice and with the songs. He dubbed all the songs with Asha ji, with Asha Bhosle. And he gave me a complete product, dubbed ready, because he was a perfectionist.
And this was the first time ever?
It was the first time ever that there was a dubbed film being released in mainstream cinema. When I came back, being a marketing man, I did a blitzkrieg on the marketing. I put up hoardings all over the country in Bombay, and everybody was wondering, what is this short guy, tall hoardings all over the place, Apu Raja, Rajan Lall presents Apu Raja. And then along the journey, there were certain friends of mine who were not doing well. Jimmy Narula, who was Rajesh Khanna's partner, whom he had left and was not in a very good financial situation because Rajesh Khanna had, parted with them after Sautan and the other film they made. So he was not doing well.
Mhm.
So I told him, I said, I'll give you a small share, 5% share. And there was
Okay.
another guy, Rajiv Narula, who was not doing. I said, I'll give you 5. So
So
I
you
was
used all
distributing
your
shares on my,
contacts.
yeah.
And,
And then Jimmy said that, you know what, there's a, you know T-Series, Gulshan Kumar.
yeah.
I said, yes, I've heard he's a very big music mogul. Yeah,
Yeah.
T-Series in those days was on top. He says he wants to meet you
Mhm.
and he wants to buy the music and the video rights of your film.
Did you
Yes.
expect it to be so big?
No, I didn't.
Mm.
It just happened. So
Mm.
I met Gulshan Kumar for the first time.
Right.
And when I met him, we just clicked. We became very close. He was
Mm.
such an innocent looking man.
Mm.
If you met him, totally illiterate. He couldn't sign his
Oh,
own name,
wow.
but a genius,
Mm.
absolute genius. I don't know, something happened. We just clicked, and
Mm.
he says, Rajan, I bought your music, I
Mm.
bought your video, but I want to be a part of the film. Can you give me a share in the film?
And you
I
took
want
him
to
on
buy.
board.
So I said,
Mm.
Gulshan ji, you are such a big man. I'm nothing. He said, no, no, I want to be part of it somehow.
Right.
So he said, give me 10% share. So I said, okay. So I gave him
Mm.
a 10% share.
Mm.
Now, after that, when he became a partner of 10%,
Mm.
then it was Rajan Lal presents uh, Kamal Hassan Appu Raja,
Right.
produced by Rajan Lal, Gulshan Kumar, Jimmy
Mm.
Davula, Rajiv. There were
The
5 names,
list.
and Ram and Babu Natpal, my people don't do it. So Kamal called me
But
up.
it set the tone for many others to come,
Yeah.
right?
So Kamal called me up. I remember even today.
Yeah.
He says, Rajan, are you producing and releasing a film, or are you part of the Amal Cooperative Housing Society?
Okay.
So, so he said, this is like the Amal Cooperative Housing Society. He said, how many names have you got? I said, yeah, Kamal, these are all friends of mine who are struggling. Some of them are not doing well. So I've given them a small share, and Ram and Babu are partners with me. I've given them a bigger share because they introduced me to you.
Do you
So
feel such a thing would happen in a day and age like this in today's
no,
Bollywood?
I don't know. But
Mm.
it just, this thing just happened. And I was there to help these people
Yeah.
financially and also try and do something in this. And it was my
Yeah.
first attempt.
Right.
So then after that, when the film became very popular, it became very, the publicity went very high, the big expectation.
Mm.
Kamal came to me and said, Rajan, I want to be a partner with you in the Bombay distribution.
Mm.
I said, that's not part of the deal. He said, no, but I want to be a partner. I said, okay. So he became a partner in that. So it became, and I said,
It
because being
also,
my first film, I wanted everybody to be a part of it and
right.
to use everybody's name
Yeah.
to promote the film.
Yeah.
Then Gulshan Kumar acted up
Hmm.
and he says, Rajanji, I have a request. Uh, all these songs are sung by Asha Bhosle. Can we dub them in Anuradha Podwal's name in voice? I said, I don't know. So I rang up Kamal and told him. I said, Kamal, Gulshan ji is asking if he can dub. He says, no, absolutely no.
Oh,
Asha ji has sung this song and she will
she will
continue.
do.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to change anything. So I told Gulshan this. I said, he's not agreeing to it. He says, it's okay, no problem.
Right. This
Now,
kind of loyalty, I feel, was very true to that, the
yes,
70s, the
and he was
80s.
that time promoting Anuradha Podwal, T
Mm.
series, as you all know.
Mm.
So, but a strange thing happened after that. Then there came a question of ego.
Yeah.
He told Jimmy, my friend, Gulshan Kumar presents. It's always Gulshan
Yes.
Kumar presents.
Mm.
And then after that, it was Gulshan Kumar and Mahesh Bhatt presents.
Mm. Mm.
So he wanted his name
Mm.
to be first.
Mm.
So he told Mr. Jimmy Narula, he says, can you tell Rajan if he can be Gulshan Kumar and Rajan Lal presents?
So everything was very,
It was
all
very,
about how you negotiate,
yeah,
how you
yeah.
discuss. There was
So
no like a legal debate
there
as
was no
today.
protocol.
There's no
So
protocol.
so he told him, he says, Gulshan ji, you are a big man and everything, but if I suggest, don't talk to this about don't talk to Rajan about this. he will tell you, you take 10 lakh rupees more and get the hell out of here, because he's a
Right.
very egoistic person. So don't even suggest it to him. He says,
So
okay.
you've dealt with many different kinds
Yeah.
of
So
successful.
that was the only time in his life
Mm.
that his name came second.
Oh.
It was Rajan, Lall and Gulshan Kumar presents Kamal Hassan Apu Raja. For them, him, it was a big ego hit.
Right.
But after that, it was always, and till today, as today, all films of T-series are Gulshan Kumar presents.
That's true.
And then Mahesh Bhatt came into the picture, and Gulshan Kumar and Mahesh Bhatt.
Yeah.
But that was the only film where his name came second.
Wow. So to understand, what has your journey in Bollywood, which is obviously very intense, you meet very, very successful and very, strong-willed people. What has that taught you as an entrepreneur?
The film industry is the worst kind of a industry to be in, and I've seen it from very close quarters. I found that it is dog eat dog.
Mm.
There's nobody's your friend here. You're as good as your last movie, and you're good as what you do and how you do it and how much you're a success. If you're not a success, you're not even recognized or called. This industry is a very outside. It looks very glamorous, but inside it's a cesspool of politics, games, scheming, tricks. I saw it from such close quarters. I didn't like it.
But yet you have always embodied trust and cooperation and.
But this was not because this was my bread and butter or my need.
Okay,
This was my
that's why.
passion. I had a very running, successful business empire, which I was running,
Yeah.
and I had a great success in that. I had other businesses which I was running on the side,
Yeah.
but they were success. Movie was a part of the business which was glamorous, which gave me glamour, which gave me name recognition, and everything else. But why I'm saying I did it my way, because even in the movie business, I made the rules.
True.
I didn't go with the rules.
True.
You know, even when I sold films to the distributors, they used to come to my office. I had a very lavish office of 20,000 square feet, and they used to come up. By the time they come up, they were awed and think, "What is this man? What kind of an office he has?" Because the other producers had very small offices everywhere in Nas building. When I sold the film, and I'll give you an example. When I sold the film to a certain territory, they would come. I said, "How much do you want?" I said, we negotiated the price. So let's say 8 lakhs, 10 lakhs, or whatever it was. So he said, "How much advance?" You know, you give advance check, or advance cash. I said, "Give me 1 rupee."
Wow.
He said, "1 rupee? What do you mean by 1 rupee?" I said, "Give me 1 rupee, the movie is yours." I was creating a sensation and a curiousness in the industry. This spread like wildfire in the industry. There's one idiot who's come and he's asking for 1 rupee for signing amount.
And yet you managed to make
and
a success.
I did my way. Even the release of the film was such that 20th of June 1990, there were 2 big films, Ghayal and Dil, Rajkumar Santoshi and Inder Kumar, big films. They were releasing the same day. They came to me and said, "Mr. Rajan, what are you doing? We have 2 big films coming and you're coming with a dub film. Can you change the date?" I said, "I'm not changing the date. My theatres are fixed, my exhibitors are fixed, everything is done. I'm not going to delay the release. You delay by 1 week." I said, "No." And they were big names.
So you
I
followed
came
your
on
heart.
that day. I released my film on that day. And these people delayed their film by 1 week and released it a week later.
So do you think you followed because you stayed to your
I said, "No,
intuition?
I'm doing it. I will do it." That's why I'm saying I did it my way, because I didn't go by the rules.
Right.
I went against the rules. I swam against the tide. And I did it because for me it was a passion, and it was not for the money. For them it was money.
Right.
For me it was a passion.
Right.
And I did it for the love of it, because it was inside me. And that's what drove me. And all the 15 films which I did after that, I did them all my own way and released it in my own terms, for not following the norm.
So what can we expect from you in the next chapter?
Even
my
now,
last question.
Now I am at a stage where I've done my bit. I've been there, done that.
Mm.
And now I've reached a stage where I'm totally relaxed. I've done everything I wanted to in life.
Mm.
Now I want to just lead and do what I want to do in life.
Okay.
It's my business. I'm taking a back seat with my son, and
Amazing.
I'm doing my thing what I'm enjoying, traveling, going for cruises, or going to casinos, gambling. I'm a very fond of gambling, and having parties, having friends. Because in the end of the day, after all you do is you earn is a reputation. Wealth
Yes.
everybody earns, money everybody earns,
True.
but it's your reputation, and that is something that I have kept all my life. Is I've earned a reputation of not fooling, cheating people, and helping people, doing
Mm.
things for people
Mm.
selflessly. And
Mm.
that is what I've earned today.
Yeah.
And that is what you have seen. Yesterday we were
Mm.
80 people. Tomorrow you will see 500 people. And those 500 people who are coming tomorrow are my friends, not
Mm.
because of what I am or who I am, but because what I am from inside
True.
and the love and warmth. I think Tezdeep saw it yesterday, the love and warmth of my friends. You saw the love and warmth of my friends. They came there not because you are Rajan Lall or
Mm.
you're releasing a book or
Mm.
because Roshans were here, but because they really loved me. And
Yeah.
you saw that
That's
love yesterday, and you'll see it tomorrow
that's the
again.
legacy you're
That's the legacy which
leaving
I'm
behind.
leaving
Yeah.
behind. Is because
Beautiful.
my father used to say as a parting line that you count your friends not during your life, but how many people attend your funeral.
That's beautiful.
That's the time when you realize how many people attend your
Truly
funeral.
love you.
So you know that those were your real friends, and
That's
that is what I
amazing.
remember, and that is what my legacy is, which I want to leave behind for my children and my
That is
grandchildren.
absolutely amazing. I can't wait to read the book, and I wish you lots and lots of
Thank you so much.
happiness
Thank you
always.
so much.
Thank you for
Thank you.
meeting me.
Thank you.